This is a brief overview of biogeography. Let's start with the founder of biogeography, Alfred Russel Wallace. He was born in 1823, and he was self-taught and didn't come from money, unlike Darwin. He read widely, including works by Malthus, Humboldt, Owen, Darwin, etc., and he was convinced by vestiges of the natural history of creation that species can change. He was influenced by an expedition to the Amazon, in which him and his friend Henry Walter Bates went on an expedition in 1848 to 1852. The ship sank on the voyage home, resulting in the loss of most of their collections. When he got back, he wrote a paper titled On the Monkeys of the Amazon, which introduced the idea that the barriers of the rivers could cause differences in species on either side, and emphasized the importance of exact locality data. He also explored the Malay Archipelago from 1854 to 1862, where he collected butterflies, insects, birds, and mammals. He wrote a paper in 1855 called the Sarawak Law, which stated that every species has come into existence coincident both in space and time with a pre-existing closely allied species. Although he was on the right track, he still didn't have the mechanism for evolution. Let's now talk about Wallace's line. He noticed that different species were found in different climates all over the world. He observed that Borneo and New Guinea, which have similar climates and similar physical features, had different types of birds and mammals. He concluded that the islands must have been connected differently in the past. While he was sick with malaria in 1858, he thought about the question of the origin of species and linked that to species distribution. He wrote a paper called On the Tendency of Varieties to Depart Indefinitely from the Original Type, in which he proposed that the variations in species must have some definite effect, and then he sent this manuscript to Darwin. So, what is biogeography? Biogeography is the study of the geographic distribution of organisms. It involves geology, paleontology, systematics, and ecology, and includes ecological biogeography as well as historical biogeography. Organisms that are closely related to each other are often found in the same geographic region, and climate and physical conditions are not a good indicator of similarity of inhabitants of a region. Barriers influence differences in species, with different species on either side of a barrier. These are all evidences of evolution through biogeography. Additionally, let's look at endemics and island biogeography. If we look at islands, they have fewer species compared to comparable continental areas. Island species are most similar to those on nearby mainland. If dispersal opportunities are low, there tends to be more endemic species. Now, species can move around through factors like dispersal and vicariance. Dispersal is the movement of organisms from one region to another, aka dispersing. Vicariance is the isolation by a barrier of a formerly widespread species. Examples of barriers include mountain ranges, rivers, movement of continental plates, etc. Allopatric speciation can occur through either dispersal or vicariance. Phylogeography involves studying gene lineages in the context of geography. Geographic data can help distinguish between dispersal and vicariance scenarios. Other species patterns corresponding with each other can also provide evidence. One example is the phylogeography of the Hawaiian fruit fly and that of the snapping shrimp in Central America, as these provide examples of allopatric speciation by vicariance.